What's going on, guys? Joel Greene here, and I am with another small business here in the Inland Empire. Kate and Ryan, what is going on?
Hello.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so my business is Kate Garcia Weddings. I am a wedding photographer. I specialize in being able to really capture the moments of the day. So every single moment that happens from the point the couple starts getting ready till they're tearing it up on the dance floor is made up of small little moments. And so part of how I want to approach the day is to capture that for the couple, because it's such a whirlwind. I think the cliche saying is that you're not really going to remember your wedding day, but my job is to help you actually remember it. And so so I really want to be able to tell that story from start to finish, and just be able to capture all of those moments, because that's the whole point of the wedding day.
Well, first and foremost, I really appreciate it's your mom who connected us, right?
Yeah. So, so she follows your page, the Inland Empire, and she saw that you had put out the video about wanting to help out. And so she messaged me the video, and she was like, "Hey, do you remember Joel Greene from Curiosity Quest?" Because that was my favorite TV show growing up.
Oh, stop it.
And I even remember seeing you at Costco one time, and I was just a kid. I don't even know how old I was, but my parents were like, "Hey, it's Joel Greene, like, go say hi. And I was all like shy, and I didn't want to do it. And they're like, "Come on, like, do it." And so I did. I walked up to you and I was like, "Hi, I just really like your show. I wanted to tell you that." You were so sweet, and your family was so sweet. And you just, were so kind. But anyways, so that was why my mom sent it to me, because she thought it was kind of a cool full circle moment of like, this was, someone that I loved watching on the TV show and like learning about stuff. And then now in a sense it could be, that we're meeting this.
We're meeting here.
And we're able to connect in this way now. Shout out to my mom.
Tell your mom thank you. When you sent me that message, and it was a pretty good message, and it really connected with me. And I don't think you knew why it connected. I just shared with you before we started, but my wife was a wedding photographer back when my daughter was born. And when you sent me the message about a little bit of your story and what's happened over the last couple of weeks, as it's happened to everybody, it just got me thinking, like, no business is not affected, even for a wedding photographer. Because I was thinking, like, if we were going through this when my wife is, like, say she's a wedding photographer now, like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. Then fast forward to the point where you said you guys were supposed to be getting married yourself on May 2nd.
Yes.
Your world's been turned upside down.
It's been a wild ride. We were supposed to get married on May 2nd. And we kind of just really had to figure out, okay, what's going to be best, not just for us, but for everybody who's involved. I think in some ways, kind of when this started to be more, I don't know how to say it, when it started to affect people more, I think it was kind of easy to think in a sense like, oh, well, it's not affecting me, like my business is still fine, and like I totally understand that it's impacting others, but then it hits you, and then you realize like, no, this is huge, and it really is impacting people. And so so we just kind of had to start thinking about it and figuring out what would be best. And I obviously wanted to consider my family and just how that would be affected, and with my dad fighting cancer, and just wanting to make sure that I wasn't exposing him unnecessarily, because I mentioned to you when I reached out, like, he's my hero. His hard work and selflessness to consistently provide for our family growing up is the model that I use for my business. I always look to his example of service in order to serve my couples. And so because he's obviously such a huge part of my life, we wanted to make sure that we considered him and considered, just the fact that whoever would be with us could be affected. And then, of course, there is the financial aspect of because I am a wedding photographer, and because things have been a little bit harder the past few months. We were really hoping to utilize that income that I was going to be receiving to just kind of pay our vendors and make the wedding happen. And with that not really happening after all, we just wanted to make a wise decision and not jump into our marriage in debt or anything like that. And so,
Sure.
yeah, so we had to walk that road, and it was hard, but we did it together, and we're super confident in what we decided to do, and it's all going to work out for the best. So.
You know, first of all, I have to say this, Kat, your website, catgarciaweddings.com, is absolutely gorgeous. You know, when we had a website, it's so much easier these days. I look at it like, oh my gosh, all the tools that are available and all the, however, the pictures have to be on point. Doesn't matter how fancy your website is, but I love your website as a way of like, dang it, that's a site I wish we had with all the tools that are available today. Back then, because it was years and years, 17 years ago, actually upwards to 14 years ago. So she did it for about 3.5 years, 4 years. But your pictures are gorgeous. Your Instagram is gorgeous. Seriously. And you've been taking pictures, or you've been a full-time wedding photographer since you were 17?
Yeah, since I was, yeah. Well, okay, sorry. Full-time was, this is the start of my 4th year. So I would have been 20 when I went full-time. But I was doing it part-time and photographing weddings and couples and family sessions basically since I was a senior in high school. And I graduated when I was 17. And I attribute that to my mom because I grew up with her always taking photos. We have so many shoeboxes of photographs and just all of that good stuff. And so I think it was just ingrained in me from the beginning was to just take photos. And even when I was in junior high, like I would take pictures of flowers and bees and, and my friends, and I would make them model for me and stuff. It organically grew. I mean, I genuinely didn't think that it would ever become my full-time job, but I'm so thankful that it has, because it really is what I'm so passionate about, just being able to show up for couples in a unique way and provide them images that increase in value over time. I mean, I loved looking at my parents' wedding images and just like reminiscing, and the mullet. My dad had a mullet.
Hey, we all did at one point, Ryan, if you're old enough, all right, bud?
He rocked it. He had that stash. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, so just kind of that legacy, and so full time since I was 20 though, and it's so crazy to think about and say out loud, but I'm just so grateful. Like I know that there are so many people who would love to be able to do what they absolutely are so passionate about as a job, and that they can't. And so the fact that I'm blessed to be able to do that is so crazy, and I'm so thankful.
So, like I said, the pictures are beautiful. Obviously, this change in the environment right now has shifted your ability to have a venue to have a wedding at for all your current brides. So what are you doing with the current brides, and then how are you helping out new ones that are coming to you right now? I say brides because, I mean, in the wedding business, brides drive, and
totally. Yeah. So right now, back when it was kind of like, let's see, we're in April, so early March, when things were kind of starting to, we could tell things were changing. I had a few brides, one of my early April brides reach out, and she was just kind of asking like, hey, so what are your thoughts? What's kind of, what do you think is going to be happening? What are you going to provide for me? Like, what's going to happen? And so from that point, I started reaching out to all of my couples. And part of the process when a couple books with me is that I send them emails basically about once a month that provide them tips and tricks on how they can better prepare for the wedding day, and tips and tricks when it comes to wedding planning, because usually, I know that there's exceptions, but usually this is their first time. They've never had to plan this large of an event before. So part of that process was already established with making those touch points each month and reaching out and being like, hey, here to help you. So with this hit of the virus, it was basically just another way for me to provide that value. And so from the moment that I started seeing that it was going to start affecting the industry more and more, I started reaching out to the brides. I emailed them like basically a kind of just a breakdown of what they can expect with me, that I am there to support them. I'm not going to charge them these crazy extra fees if they have to move their date. Like, again, this is nothing any of us planned for. So that's genuinely just what's happening. I'm just telling them that I'm there for them, that I am happy to be flexible and work with whatever date that they want to look forward to or change to, and that that even, yes, like I'll be there in the future for them, but even now, if they need to hop on a phone call or if they need to talk through what it looks like to have to reach out to vendors and like tell their guests that they have to. So I really want to just, again, provide that service that goes more than just, yeah, I'll see you whenever you book. Like, no, I want to be there. I want to help support them. I want to show them that they're more than just, you know, this person that I want to photograph. Like, they're part of this service that I am providing. So that's genuinely what's happening now with the people who are rescheduling. And then for the people who are currently booking, I just, again, just provide reassurance, create that touch point from the start. Like, hey, I know this is a crazy season. I'm so happy that you still reached out. Like, you should be excited. Don't feel like you can't be excited right now that you just got engaged and that you want to plan your wedding for 2021 and just all of that good stuff. And then from there, just telling them again, like, if for some reason your wedding is affected by the virus, please know that, you know, I'm still going to be here for you. I want to still work with you, and I'm happy to do whatever I can to make that happen. So
get those reactions.
Yeah, so I was first time I've tried this, so hopefully I'm doing it right. So I just shared my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm hoping everybody else can too. But yeah, I wish I can close the tabs up top. But anyhow, yeah. So these are some of your pictures on your site, and I'm telling you, do you do just couple engagement pictures as well?
Yeah. So within basically kind of some basic pricing. So I mentioned earlier that not everybody needs an 8-hour wedding, but genuinely most couples do tend to find that they fall into the 8 to 10 hour range. And so within packages that are 8 hours or 10 hours, they automatically receive a free engagement session. And so that's what those photos would be, is so like the ones that are there right now, the 4 up, those are all engagement photos, and those are all brides and couples who are coming up or
wow,
here pretty soon. So yeah, so
wait, you travel?
Yeah.
Travel? Oh, look at that. That is awesome. Oh, did I click on the wrong one? I thought I saw the one in San Francisco.
Yeah. It's called Baker Beach. So there's a little part, this is why we loved it. There's a little part on the right that kind of looks like a woodsy setting, but yet you're on the beach. And so we could just turn around 2 seconds later and you could see the Eiffel Tower. Oh my gosh, the Golden Gate Bridge.
Golden Gate Bridge, yeah. We filmed on the opposite side at the Presidio a couple times.
Nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So
yeah,
they're in what's it called? I can't remember, but by Oakland and like that.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Gosh, it's so good. So, you know, for a lot of people that don't know, here, let me go back. I said, I love the way your site is laid out. How you could just pop into portfolios and just go through. I love, oh my gosh. Like, seriously, I'm jealous because we didn't have the tools that we have today. Anyhow.
I have to give my designer a shout out though. I did have a vision, but she was the one that brought it all together. So I'm just saying, invest in your business.
Right. Right. And I love you have a blog too to kind of give people some tips. And I love that too. This is one of the things we always recommend to businesses, look, don't just offer your service, but also offer guidance on your service and tips and tricks and things around your service. So I love that.
Really love that, the wedding wisdom that you see right there, because that's actually an interview that I did with my past brides who have already had their wedding and who have already booked me as a photographer. Yeah. So I do that purposefully so that other couples can actually hear from the couple themselves about what the wedding day looks like, not just with me, but in general. Again, I want to provide those tips and tricks in general, not just in regards to photography. So yeah, I loved that, and they loved it too. We all love just being able to reconnect again. Some of the couples are from over 2 years ago, and so it's just really cool to just be able to do that and have that kind of interview in a sense, and yeah, have them share.
So cool. For people who don't realize this as your business, as a wedding photographer, now I know there's going to be a couple other vendors that won't agree with me, but
Yeah.
I feel like the wedding photographer is the one who is running the day. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kate.
Yes, but the only point where I would say that that's different is if they did hire a wedding
Wedding
coordinator or a
coordinator.
wedding.
Correct. Correct.
So, but if they, and that's totally fine if they didn't. Usually it's the photographer or the videographer, like those kinds of people who are kind of there to help guide the day and to help the couple realize like, okay, time to jump from this point to this point. Ceremonies at this time, like we have this second time to get these photos done. But yes, they are definitely a key part of the day just because, again, they are the ones that capture the day. So they have to be involved in each step and in each kind of hour that passes by because we have to be prepared for what's to come so that we can provide that to our couples later. So yes and no, if that makes sense.
You're being too political. I'm like, no, come on. You guys run the day.
Oh, man.
Anyhow, well, okay, so if people want to, obviously weddings are happening throughout the rest of this year, next year, the year after, and some people are going to be getting engaged, in this quarantine time. We just heard my wife, because I told you she does a blog, I Married a Naked blog, and she was actually just hearing a couple stories of how people are getting engaged in a quarantine time, which is awesome and different. But how can people reach out to you and set a time to either Zoom with you or meet with you?
Yeah, totally. So obviously, as you guys can see, I do have a website. And so there is a form called the contact form. The word contact in that menu.
Oh, there we go. Boom. There we go. Yeah. Right there.
No worries. And so this will just give you like a basic breakdown of some information that you can give me. And then from there, I usually do like to hop on a quick phone call to just kind of go over what your needs are as a couple so that I can create a package that works best for you guys. But other than that, you can also find me on Instagram at Kate Garcia Weddings. And then I am actually on wedding websites like The Knot and Wedding Wire. I know that those can be kind of popular tools to use during wedding planning because they're kind of like a one place for many, many, many different vendors. So you can find me on all of those. It's Kate Garcia Weddings. And yeah, just reach out. It doesn't have to be through my website. Like obviously it's super helpful because you can give me a little bit of information. That way when we are able to talk on the phone, we can kind of get straight to the nitty gritty in a sense. But you're still super welcome to reach out on Instagram or The Knot or Wedding Wire, and I'm super happy to start chatting.
That is awesome. Well, I thank you guys so much for being on, and I know that there's uncertain times ahead as they are today, but I really wish you guys much success. And again, it's showing proof that not everyone is affected. From the person who's doing the weddings, the venues, the families that are supposed to be coming to the weddings. And so I just want to shed as much light on as many businesses as we can. So thanks for being on, Kate. I appreciate it. Ryan, thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right, you bet. Take care, guys.